Hi, I'm Numbert.
And I'm Svenny.
And you're watching Battle Gamer News.
Today we're reviewing Prototype.
In Prototype, you play as Alex Mercer, who woke up in a New York City morgue with no memories and amazing powers.
Alex soon figures out that the city is being plagued by a terrible infection that turns people into zombies.
Alex makes it his mission to find out what happened to him and make those responsible pay.
The storyline in and of itself is not all that impressive. We've seen zombies and we've seen amnesiacs, but what's interesting is not the story itself, but how the story is told.
Aside from the cutscenes that are before and after the missions, much of the story is told through consuming the memories of others.
A symbol above their head, and when you absorb them, a brief cutscene will play, giving you a clue about the infection or your life.
The plot is a little basic and there's plenty of cliches, so it's not something you will be amazed by.
Honestly, I didn't think the plot was that bad. There were plenty of plot holes and unexplained events, but I really was interested in the story, so I guess we disagree on that one. Prototype are decent enough for a sandbox game, but they won't blow you away.
The buildings are boxy and there's a lot of pop-in. The character models are okay, but again, not fantastic.
Animations for hives and military bases were the same every single time.
Yeah, a lot of the animations did repeat, but you gotta hand it to them for making so many animations for other things, like consuming.
I also really thought the animations for Alex running and his various powers were smooth and impressive, so that kind of balances out the subpar textures and buildings. The gameplay of Prototype is fairly typical of most sandbox games. You have one main quest chain and several side objectives to do along the way.
The main quest line is long and usually interesting, but there's a sharp difficulty curve at the end, and it can get tedious to keep running for health so often.
In the beginning, you have only the most basic powers, but through the game you gain evolution points from just about everything to spend on gaining new powers.
They're totally disconnected from the plot and have you doing meaningless things like running up buildings or landing on targets. We ended up skipping most of them since all they give you is evolution points, and there are more than enough to be had in the main quest.
Consume and look like enemy units, so there are several missions based on assuming and remaining in disguise, which you will either find really fun or incredibly annoying.
The real highlight of the gameplay of Prototype is getting all the various powers and finding out how they work.
There are various types of weapons that you can turn your arms into that are good for fighting different types of enemies, such as claws or a long whip.
The various modes Alex can go into have different strengths and weaknesses against the various enemies in the game. In the end, you get good at knowing which modes are good against which enemies, and it can be kind of fun switching between the various modes. Prototype is a game that tried to do a lot of amazing things, and they succeeded in most of them. Unfortunately, there were just a few glaring errors that held it back from greatness, so I'm giving Prototype a very good 8 out of 10.
I also enjoyed Prototype, but I thought the missions were unnecessarily difficult and tedious. I gave Prototype an 8 out of 10.
Thanks for watching Battle Gamer News. Subscribe and check back every Tuesday for more game reviews.